February 24th, Russia launches an invasion on Ukraine. Since then, reports of shelling targeted at civilians have blanketed the news cycles.
And among the victims of those attacks, children. It's from the perspective of a Ukrainian child that the story Hedgehog is told, a story that's being made into a short film produced right here on Delmarva. Filmmaker Dave Messick is one of the producers of the film. He joins us along with Dimitri. He is a writer and a director, and we are so happy to have you here. This is a very timely project right now. Dimitri, I want to start with you. You are actually from Belarus.
That's right. I was born in Minsk, Belarus, back when it was still USSR. I was 15 years old when I left the place, and I still remember it quite well.
So what goes through your mind when you see this war going on?
A lot of things, and it's, frankly speaking, it's quite chaotic because again, I remember this place as USSR, and all of us sort of lived together. So we do share languages, even though we have our native languages. For Belarusians, Belarus, for Ukrainian, Ukrainian, and for Russians, Russian. But we are kind of like brothers and sisters in that area.
So do you actually have family and friends that are still there?
I do. I do have family in Belarus still.
Have you heard anything from them?
I have, and I do have friends. And the strangest thing is, and the people that are most affected are those who have half family living in Ukraine and half in Belarus or Russia. So it's just, that's why I say it's extremely chaotic.
Yeah. Now, you said you came here when you were 15. What brought you to the States?
Actually, we defected Belarus with the wave of Jewish immigrants. And so, in fact, we had to lose our citizenship to get to become naturalized here in the States.
How did you wind up here on Delmarva?
Thanks to Dave Messick and Unseen Productions. And in fact, roughly about a year ago, we met at a big festival in Iowa, in Dubuque. We had breakfast, and since then we just sort of clicked, and we always wanted to do a project together, and it's a combination of how the project happens. It just,
I'm not sure about that breakfast now, but I'm glad we did it.
So how did this project come together?
We just started talking, and we became friends, and his lovely wife came to visit us, me and mine, and we just started talking about filmmaking and a project down here. And I've been wanting to do bigger things on the Eastern Shore. I've been fortunate to grow my company to a level to have the tools to put this together. And with these guys who have the people, they brought in some big players to do this film with us. And we just wanted to do it, and we put this together. One of the biggest things was it being original and trying to find a place.
Right.
And the documentary I produced, Reggie's Forest, is about, it's a location that is unlike any other on the Eastern Shore. It's called Mariner's Country Down. And they saw the vision of the property that could be put together to look like the Ukraine. It's an old village.
Wow.
And we started talking about it, I was like, let's do it here. Because they were just asking if we could bring some tools to them. And they live in upstate New York for a short time. They're thinking about Eastern Shore as their home now. So we just said, let's try to do this here. And we casted people. The cast is Ukrainian, Russian, Belarusian, that do have family back there. So being that the story doesn't hit hard on either side of the war, the people came together to want to do it, because that's tough. I mean, family members are living there, and you can't affect them. And the Russian folks involved were very skeptical of it at first.
Okay, can you hang out with us for a few minutes?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a real quick break. We want to talk more about the film Hedgehog. We're going to find out about that in just a minute. Don't you go anywhere. Delmarva, I'll be right back.
We're spending some time today with just two of the masterminds behind the film Hedgehog, which, through the eyes of a child, tells the story of what's going on in Ukraine. Filmmaker Dave Messick is one of the producers of Hedgehog. Dmitry is the writer and director. This is fascinating because the film is seen through the eyes of a girl, a little girl named Nina. Tell us about Nina.
Nina is a regular 6-year-old girl, full of innocence, full life ahead of her. Gets dropped off at her grandmother's home, somewhere in the west remote Ukrainian village, while 2 of her young parents go off to war. And she discovers a badly wounded Russian soldier in the shed of her grandmother's home. And there is a relationship that is developed between the little girl and the soldier. The little girl helps to cure the soldier.
What kind of research do you have to do to put something like this together?
For me, as a writer and director, I wanted to introduce this story in a very innocent point of view.
Right.
As far as the research is concerned, I'm very well familiar with what goes on in the remote villages in Ukraine, in Russia, in Belarus. I did make a few phone calls to friends and family members just to confirm that we're on the same page and I'm not really going off to another orbit, so to speak.
Yeah.
And really, that was it. And then it's just pretty much creating a DNA of characters.
Now, Dave, you had mentioned that this movie was filmed in what, 5 days? And 4.
We did it in 4.
You wrapped it up this past weekend.
We had a 5-day shoot that we turned into 4 because we really worked hard.
Ah.
And
what were some of the challenges you faced?
well, like he was saying, and authenticity is very important because we wanted it to truly feel like you're in the Ukraine, and that was probably some of the biggest research from that aspect, with Russian uniforms and backdrops and pieces, and where the grandmom actually lives in Ocean City, that we were fortunate to cast a couple local crew members. She really helped on that because that was important.
It's incredible. We actually put out a local call for a grandmother role, and a terrific lady by the name of Nadia Lipovak replied, and we met and we sort of hit it off. Also, we needed to find Nina's screen father, and Yura Barilko also came in place and just filled in beautifully on the set.
So local to Buddhism. Okay, let me ask you.
We were lucky there.
Yeah, no kidding. 4 days, a fascinating storyline, local people involved, and timely. What do you want the viewers of this to take away from it?
Well,
What's going on? I mean, like, from the eyes of a young child, I mean, it's tear dropping. I want to cry right here. I mean, you think about it, so what the world's seeing with this war is just the children I see on the news and getting dragged around and pulled away and not understanding why.
from the humanistic standpoint, it was very important for me as a writer before director is to create a piece about humanity. I didn't want, of course I wanted it to be pro-Ukraine, but I didn't want it to do anti-Russian, because a lot of innocent Russian people are wound up in this. And at the end of the day, the message would be that we have an obligation to be human to each other.
Yeah. And of course, a wonderful, wonderful message there. Looking forward to seeing it. How can we see it? When? Any idea?
Well, we're going into fast post-production. We want to get this out there as soon as possible. Our goal is definitely to try to get in the biggest festivals in the world. There's a few that are in our minds, but we're going to keep them to ourselves right now. We're just hoping and praying, and once that's done, we're definitely going to have something in Ocean City. The entire Ocean City community, I can't even start with the names because they're just incredible, but I will say Todd Burbage and Reese Cropper stepped up immensely and helped us as executive producers. And we want to have something down there, as well as the Ocean City Film Festival is important to us. But we're trying to go global with this.
Yep.
So
Good
Well, it
luck.
should.
Thank you so much, Dave Messick, Dimitri.
Best wishes,
Looking
John.
forward
Thank
to
you all.
seeing it.
Thank you.